and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. We're continuing with our series on prayer. I've gotten so many emails from you guys about, who do we pray to? How do we pray? What do we pray about? Really with the most purest of intention. Many are also, calling on a global meditation. But beloveds, we have to first even understand our own power and capabilities individually before we can even want to connect globally. Because, when we connect globally, all of us connects, the good, the bad, the worked on, the unworked on. So I really believe that instead of us rushing to kind of have a group kind of vibe, everyone should just be praying and allowing spirit, because our spiritual team and our spiritual family, they're overseeing everything. So whenever you're led to wake up and pray, wake up and pray. And for whatever it is. And that's what usually happens in prayer, with prayer warriors like over a nation. I told you guys, beloveds, the Most High doesn't need everybody, but he has his generals. Our ancestors have their generals, their prayer generals, who they will wake up to declare a thing, to return to sender certain curses that have been sent our way, to shatter, scatter, batter the plans of the enemy. And sometimes it will be when there's an impending attack, and I remember meeting two prayer warriors, two women, on separate occasions before there was a terrorist attack here in Kenya. And it was funny because they both were literally waking up and praying in their prayer closets at the same time. And they were both called to fast for 7 days. But it all happened. And, one of the women told me there's so many hidden generals who you may not see out here, but who are doing their work. Well, she said on their knees, but who are doing the necessary work, who are making the necessary declarations, who are sending back the darts of the enemy. Because the darts of the enemy, beloved, are the words that they keep telling us about ourselves, the untruths that they keep darting our way. If you look at what happened with India, first they're saying India's going to have a catastrophic. First they were asking why India wasn't having a catastrophic situation. Then they were like, it's going to happen. And now it's happening. We have to see that, the spirit comes before the physical, beloveds. That's why it's so important for us to move more into engaging spiritually, because we've tried to engage physically and it really hasn't worked well for us. So how do we pray? That's the question I want to answer today. And really it's as simple as with the purest of hearts and purest of intentions. There is no wrong or right formula. And as I told you, beloveds, your spiritual teachers in this time are your spiritual team and spiritual family. And I believe, start where you are with what beloveds. Just remove all those religious psychosis terms, don't use terms that are as general as God or general as Lord, because who are you praying to? The greatest disservice that has happened to us is because we don't know the names of our ancestors, the names of our gods, or some of us do. Gaiwa Kirinyaga, that's who they say our God is, the God of the Kirinyaga mountain, which they love to call Mount Kenya. Stories for other days. But if you just pray with your purest of intentions, beloveds, and as you make that an intention, remember, it takes 21 days to develop a solid habit. If you just commit to spirit with that first step of praying, chanting, meditating, however to connect to a spirit, increase it to a significant time in your day. Do it in the night when there's less static energy, where you just commune. You're communing with your ancestors. You're communing with the Most High Creator, etc., etc. So it's really, really important to ask those questions, beloveds. And I mean, to ask the questions of who is my spiritual team? Who am I connecting with? And you will get the answers. But always go into prayer with the most purest of heart, beloveds, because that purity is what will protect you in the spiritual realm where you are currently blind and where you don't see none. And, as you start to cultivate just a routine of communing with the spiritual realm, and you start to set the intention for your day, so no one is setting the intention for you. So tomorrow, this is going to happen for me. Tomorrow, this door is going to happen for me. When you get into that routine, your spiritual team, beloveds, will now move with you to go deeper in that avenue, and then they'll bring you other techniques. Maybe you're from the Fire Nation and you should include fire in your daily communion, etc., etc. Maybe you're from the Water Nation, and so your whole prayer, communion, meditation should be done by water or with a glass of water. There's just ways to do it, because water is also a life, beloveds. So if you're from the Water Nation and you truly understand the water of power, whoa. But, that's all I would say, beloveds. And as you continue with that, your spiritual practice will become deeper. And you'll be led to different articles about how to do certain rituals. Maybe you need to set up your own shrine. Maybe you need to set up an altar in your house with your ancestors, with, different. So it's just like, it's a very personal journey. But make sure you start that journey from a place of purity. Like, this should only be done from a place of awakening, beloveds. Never go into a prayer life wanting to harm someone or to punish someone, or even seeking the help of spiritualists for that. Start with yourself. All the power is inside of you. And start with just wanting to awaken and go deeper. And start with gratitude, beloveds. Never forget to be thankful for what you have, because whatever you're grateful for continues to appear, manifest, and multiply in your life. Until next time, tuko pamoja. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki, reporting live and direct from the nation of Mount Zion. So many people want to argue, is Mount Zion in Kenya? Is it in I don't know, wherever else you say it, but we know what is the truth in our hearts. Thanks to every single person that has subscribed to both the Dr. Mumbi Show and the Dr. Mumbi Live. Be sure to subscribe to the Dr. Mumbi Live Show. That's where we'll be putting most of our news for now, as we continue, in this massive, massive global narrative war for our story, for our truth. That is what we're truly fighting for. Today I just wanted to come on here briefly and just with a word of encouragement. Beloveds, you are not alone. You never walk alone. You do not walk alone. From the moment you were born, there are guardian angels that are walking with you. Even some of your, ancestors walk with you. And they are there to help you. They are there to school you. They protect you. Sometimes you'll hear a voice like, don't go this way, or don't, turn left and turn right, and you miss a big accident. Or, there's so many of those where you think it's premonition, where you think it's your own thoughts, but it's the whispers of your ancestors that are constantly giving you information, encouraging you. And in the times that we are now approaching, it is so important that you really recognize that you do not walk alone, and that you are surrounded by, benevolent and malevolent, entities. That means the good ones and the bad ones. And that they will become, your go-to spiritual counsel in the weeks, months, and years to come, because you will not survive if you do not have that spiritual support. You just cannot survive what is to come. You won't be able to avoid it, because it's going to take supernatural movement to avoid, the chip, the this, the that, and supernatural replenishment, like, manna from heaven, literally, is what many are going to be relying on, because they're collapsing the economy, they're collapsing the food system in the West, which means, here in the East, if you want to call it that, in Africa, we will be affected by that. And so much, and so they're just turning the pot, and what they want to do is they're totally changing and creating this new world order where you are 100% reliant on them, and in order to operate in their world you have to do what they say. So you really need to start recognizing that you do not walk alone, and that there are spiritual beings that you may not be able to see with these two eyes, that are walking with you, that are supporting you, that are comforting you, that are there to protect you, and that are there to really help you make a spiritual escape. They are your spiritual rescue. And the most important thing to do, apart from meditation, sitting silently, and there's many steps, but the first step, the most important step, is to raise your vibration, beloveds. And when people say raise your vibration, it's not some new age thing. It's like raise your consciousness, raise the kind of things you think about, raise the kind of things you engage your mind, your soul, and your heart in. Have a higher perspective, have a broader perspective of life. School yourself, brainwash yourself with uplifting and empowering content, even if it means you listen to positive affirmations overnight, just to rewire your brain, because you attract who you are, not just on the physical level, but also on the spiritual level. So spiritually, where you are, like if you're down there worried, scared, fornicating, just living a life of total debauchery, then the ancestors and the guardian angels that will be around you will be on that level. So they may not bring you as many good things as they will bring you negative, challenging things, because they kind of feed on that. So you'll see, like, if you're a party animal, there's a certain type of spiritual beings that will surround you, spirits that enjoy that, that enjoy spirits that enjoy getting high or drinking alcohol, or going and hearing that music, or whatever comes with that lifestyle. But as you move into a higher mind, a higher consciousness, you now start to attract the higher level beings, the higher knowledge, the higher understanding that is your inheritance and that is in your bloodline. There's certain ancestors who won't mess with you in your current state because you're just too low. You're so gripped with fear, anxiety, worry, just waiting for someone to tell you what to do, heavy reliance on others, and all these things keep you on such a low vibration that the masters in your bloodline, the spiritual kings and queens in your bloodline, cannot even access you to help you out. So raise yourself, beloveds. Be courageous to get out of the mental prison that we have been, schooled in, that we've been fed this Kool-Aid since we were in our mother's stomachs. So literally just start to shift that, because you do not walk alone, and you want to have access to the highest level of spiritual guidance and spiritual knowledge and spiritual wisdom, which means that you must raise yourself to a level where those ancestors and those guardian spirits can actually recognize you and choose to assist you on your journey. Until next time, Tuko pamoja.